Legends of Hollywood. Vivien Leigh and Hedy Lamarr at first glance, and a certain angle can seem very similar. Even the internet confuses them, often giving one for the other. The actresses do indeed have similarities, and not only external. They tried out for the role of Scarlett in Gone with the Wind, but the role went to Vivien Leigh. Golden Hollywood actress Hedy Lamarr lived an amazing fate, which incredible events will surpass any Hollywood scenario. Hedwig Eva Maria Kiesler was born November 9, 1914 in Vienna and was the only child of bank manager Emil Kiesler, incidentally born in Lvov, and pianist Gertrude Lichtwitz. She was the only desired and favorite child in the family, inheriting from her mother not only refined bright appearance, but also artistic talent. The girl passionately dreamed of trying herself on stage, only not musical, and the theater. Having received an education in one of the best private schools, Hedy practiced music and dance. From the very beginning, I knew that I would be an actress, said Hedy. Her father didn't want to hear anything about it, and then she simply ran away from home. In her class, classical music was considered a noble occupation, but the theater, or worse, the cinema, the domain of fallen women. 16-year-old Hedy entered the theater school, where she noticed the German director Max Reinhardt. A recognized innovator in the European stage art, Max was relentlessly in search of new stars. With his pitch, her career began. Hedy made her debut in the German movie The Girl in the Nightclub in 1930. She played several unremarkable roles, and then an unprecedented scandal broke. 19-year-old Hedy starred in the movie Czech director Gustav Mahady Ecstasy, where there was a scene of a young actress bathing in a forest lake. The movie was banned in numerous countries, in others it was shown in a censored form. It was this movie was the cause of interest in the young actress Austrian millionaire, arms manufacturer Fritz Mandl. Mandl completely lost peace and literally became obsessed with the girl. Being in the top 3 richest people in Austria, he did everything possible to make the beauty drew attention to him. Expensive gifts, flowers, jewelry, dinners in luxury restaurants, and marriage proposal. Fritz was 14 years older, but Hedy was not embarrassed by the age difference. Her parents, shocked by the scandal surrounding the movie, demanded Hedy's return to the family, and marriage seemed to be her salvation. A few months passed and Hedy realized how much she was wrong, hastily married. Her husband tormented her with jealousy scenes, controlled her every move, and tortured her with nagging. From the outside, Hedy's life in Salzburg Castle, surrounded by servants, jewelry, and outfits, could seem serene. For starters, Friedrich tried to buy out all copies of Ecstasy from the Austrian rental, and then she forbade the star in the movie. She traveled with her husband to his factories and even attended production meetings. Partners calmly discussed their business, not paying attention to the wife of a factory worker. After all, can any actress to understand what such serious gentlemen argue about? Meanwhile, the girl, for lack of other intellectual entertainment, listened to everything that was said at the meetings and delved into technical issues. Her knowledge of mathematics, education, and inquisitive mind allowed her to understand the essence of the conversations. Soon Hedy realized that for her husband, she was just another profitable acquisition, like a prestigious car or a thoroughbred horse. Mandel bragged beautiful wife in front of business partners and high society. It got to the point that she was afraid to be alone with him, and from his voice alone she began to shake. From his touch, she spent hours scrubbing her body with a washcloth, locked in the bathroom. It is not known how long she would have tolerated it if Friedrich did not begin to actively express sympathy for the fascist regimes gaining popularity in Europe. He callously and unscrupulously, without any embarrassment about the fate of hundreds of thousands of people of despicable nationality, which included her, openly sympathized with Hitler and Mussolini. This she could not tolerate, and then Hedy began to prepare to escape. In 1937, disguised in the modest clothes of his maid, with one suitcase, she took the train, which took her to London. It is true that in addition to her clothes, the suitcase contained jewelry worth a considerable sum, which was to serve as compensation for her 4 years of unhappy marriage. After buying a ticket for a transatlantic liner and taking precautions, she had taken care of her passport in a foreign name in advance. Hedy headed for New York. On the liner, she was approached by a gray-haired gentleman, and she got cold, still in fear that she, a fugitive, may be returned by her omnipotent husband. But the stranger, with a kind smile, handed Hedy a business card and introduced himself. "Don't be frightened. My name is Louis Mayer, and I am one of the owners of the Hollywood movie company Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer. I'm returning from Europe, where I was looking for new faces for Hollywood." The contract between Hedy and movie companies was concluded directly on board the liner. Louis Mayer persuaded the girl to take a new name to avoid scandalous associations with ecstasy, and Hedy Keesler became Hedy Lamarr. Louis Mayer made a bet on the young actress, hoping that it will be a second Greta Garbo or Marlene Dietrich. Mayer called Hedy Lamarr the most beautiful woman in the world and believed that it is time to break the monopoly of stereotypical platinum blondes on the screen. Roles for her selected appropriate, fatal beauty and seductresses, and partners were the most famous and attractive actors of the era: Clark Gable, James Stewart, Spencer Tracy. Films with her participation came out one after another: Algiers, Lady of the Tropics, Tortilla Flat Quarter, Samson, and Dalila. In total, Lamarr earned on filming $30 million, a huge sum at the time. Soon, disappointed in the film industry, including because Mayer, according to biographers, gave the actress less royalties because of her refusal to enter into intimate relations with him. Hedy actually left the acting career, only occasionally appearing in the frame, and became actively engaged in scientific activity, and this decision opened new horizons for her. When World War I broke out, Lamarr revealed another talent to the world, wanting to make her contribution to the fight against fascism. She proposed in 1942 to the U.S. National Inventors Council the idea of radio-telephone communication, Wi-Fi, which today is used by radio and cell phones, as well as satellites. The patent was granted and classified, but Lamarr's invention was not actually used until the late 1950s and early 1960s. Hedy refused to pay money for her discovery. Knowledge of an engineer of the highest qualification, according to her, acquired, bored at countless meetings and laboratory tests, to which she took her first husband, wishing to boast of the beauty of his wife. Her personal life was quite turbulent. The second spouse of the actress was Jean Markey. Childless spouses adopted a boy, James. But Hedy would not be Hedy if she had resigned herself to childlessness. In her third marriage, she gave birth to a daughter, Denise, and then a son, Anthony. In all, Hedy married 6 times. The last marriage in 1963 to lawyer Louis J. Boyce proved fatal. In 1965, Hedy divorced him, losing her entire fortune. At this point, she quit with marriage. Fear of losing beauty became her obsession, so strong that Lamarr risked doing some radical plastic surgery in an attempt to regain youth. On one occasion, Hedy was accused of shoplifting shoes worth less than $100 from a store in Florida. Although the court rejected the accusation, the stain on her reputation from this incident remained for a long time. A few years later, Hedy, already not too sociable, wished to cut ties with the world and go to his estate in Florida. She felt perfectly at home alone, and there was a telephone to communicate with friends and children. To her daughter, Denise, Hedy said, "Being a glamorous beauty is easy. All you have to do is not change and look silly. But beauty goes away no matter how hard you try. It's the smarts and the things you do that stay." She lived a long life. In her 86th year, Hedy Lamarr passed away on January 19, 2000, and the actress' birthday on November 9 is Inventor's Day in Germany, Austria, and several other European countries. In 2014, Hedy Lamarr's name was immortalized in the U.S. National Inventors Hall of Fame.